So there's a lot of talk about the downfall of the influencer and the end of the influencing era. And honestly, I'm not surprised. I think most of us are tired of that kind of shallow content or content that feels like it's devoid of personality. Or when somebody is telling you the 18th lip gloss this month and claiming that every single one of them is life changing. While the audience for that type of content is clearly shrinking, the act of influencing is just on the rise. In fact, we're only scratching the surface of the creator economy. And importantly, if you consider yourself an ambitious, multi-passionate, deep thinking type of individual, then that type of influencing, that model was never built for you anyway. You were never going to see the opportunities you wanted to going down this route. And you probably tried. I know you've probably given it a go, kind of got on the bandwagon and burnt out very quickly, realize that this is not going to work for you and is not aligned with how you want to live your life. I know this too because I've been in this game for almost 6 years and I in cycles have experienced this very same feeling. But my point here is that this isn't the end of influence. And if you are the type of person I just described, it's an opportunity to step into something far more fruitful and far more aligned with the way that you operate. If you're new here, I'm an engineer, a content creator, an artist, traveler, lifter, but more importantly, I'm someone who's been creating resources, tools, and community for multi-passionate women, for the modern Renaissance woman. And in this video, I'm going to break down why stepping into Renaissance thought leadership is going to be key for you in positioning yourself and carving out your unique space in 2026 so that you can see the right opportunities that are aligned with you and operate in a way that doesn't feel exhausting. So before I break down the reasons you're going to want to go down this route, I should probably explain and contextualize what I mean when I say Renaissance thought leadership. It's an approach to personal branding and creating your body of work, and there are 3 key components. The first one is Renaissance, and this is because this approach lives at the intersection of your skills, your passions, your energy, and your values. It's derived from my formula that I've spoken about in quite a few of my videos, but at its core, it's about bringing together the things that you have a proven ability in, the things that you care deeply about, the way you make people feel and are energized by being around you, and also the principles that guide your life. You use all of this together to carve out your unique positioning, a place that only you can occupy. It's not about being everything to everyone or cramming everything in, but it's also not about flattening yourself so much that you cannot stand out in the crowd. And the reason why it's referred to as the Renaissance is because it's inspired by that period of technological and artistic advancement and the thriving of multidisciplinary, multi-passionate people like Da Vinci. Now, the second component is thought, and this is about sharing your ideas, your frameworks, your resources, your way of thinking, and all of this contributing towards a body of work, towards a collection of a substantial output. And often we associate these with professors or academics or an artist, but in this case, you fit here perfectly. And the third component was leadership. Now, for me, leadership is about others. It's about bringing people along a journey so they can prosper with you, they can grow with you, whether that's through conversation, whether that is through your resources, whether that is through the experiences that you bring them in on. Jay-Z has a really good line in one of his songs where he basically says, here, we say you're broke if everyone is broke except you. Like this idea that if you are sitting there and you're not taking anyone along with you on this journey of success, right, on this journey of prosperity and growth and learning, then you are actually broke. And I actually do really like that idea when it comes to leadership. So now that I've broken down what Renaissance thought leadership is at a high level, let's break down why this is going to be best for you in 2026. The first reason is you don't want to chase numbers and trends indefinitely. Influencing in its kind of traditional sense can feel like you're on a consistent hamster wheel, effectively chasing trends and chasing changes in the algorithm in the hopes that you're going to blow up, right? That there's going to be that one video, that one post that's going to send you into the algorithmic stratosphere, right? And allow you to get those numbers, that validation. Because the thing is, when your opportunities are tied to numbers so closely and an ever-growing number, it can be anxiety inducing. Again, I know this. I've been in this game for 6 years now and seen the highs and lows associated with it. It can feel like you have to be chronically online to keep up with these trends, to stay in the loop. And if you're anything like me, that's probably not how you want to live your life moving forward, right? You actually want to spend less time online, but you still want to have impact. But the beauty of Renaissance thought leadership is that it doesn't require large numbers for you to see impact and start to drive those opportunities towards you, right? Because you have a highly engaged, thought-provoking, deep-thinking audience who are engaging in conversation and ideas, there's a flow that can be incredibly valuable for both you and the community. It is definitely a pursuit of quality over quantity. And whilst I'm sitting here now, and I do have 180,000 subscribers, so you may be thinking, well, that's pretty easy for you to say from where you're sitting now. But I have women in my community, the House of Renkol, who have a few hundred, I'm not talking thousands, a few hundred followers and subscribers across platforms who have seen incredible opportunities driven towards towards them because of their positioning, because of this thought leadership approach that they have taken to putting themselves out there. I'm talking about paid speaking opportunities and being asked to host workshops. I'm talking about one-to-one consulting. I'm talking about being invited to industry events and being recognized by top CEOs of companies. All of that because of this Renaissance thought leadership positioning that they have decided to embark on. At the end of the day, you don't want to be preoccupied continuously with going viral or what dance I now need to do in order to get my ideas across. That's not how you want to live your life. And that's the first reason why you should go down this route in 2026. Now, the second reason you want to go down this route is because you want to build trust in your industry and community. You'll often hear people say that attention is the currency. It is the most valuable thing that you can hold right now. But I think that's only part of the conversation. It's actually trusted attention, because you may be able to capture me, right? Something flashy, something pops on the screen or your voice. But if I don't trust you, if I don't have a desire to go deeper with you and to connect with you, then it's going to be in one door and out the other very quickly. And there's not much that can be done with that type of attention, not much that is meaningful anyway. The great thing about thought leadership is that it builds trust over time because it's cumulative. Each one of your ideas that you put forward, those resources, those frameworks, those experiences, they all build on top of each other to form this body of work. Over an extended period of time, you become a trusted voice and are seen as a net positive as opposed to a net negative, which I think a lot of content feels like, right? We want to walk away feeling empowered and enlightened like the Renaissance as opposed to drained and scanned out of my time and attention. Your audience are able to track how you think, how you've evolved, what you stand for, and that's the type of trust that can stand the test of time. And if you're really in the game of longevity, then this is the route that you want to take, and this is the second reason. The third reason you want to go down this route is because you want to unlock opportunities beyond just brand deals or making money off of AdSense. Thought leaders are able to unlock a different type of opportunity because of the things that we have just been speaking about, because of that trust that they're building, the high quality, highly engaged audience, this importance being placed on trust and longevity. For example, people want to hear you speak, and so they will pay for you to be on stages or to deliver workshops, or they want your time on a one-on-one basis. Again, because of that positioning, because of the authority that you have as a thought leader, as a Renaissance thought leader, companies might want your time in a one-to-one capacity, or individuals might want to go deeper with you. But it's beyond that. It's also career opportunities that you're uniquely placed to tap into. It's leadership roles, advisory positions, book deals. All of these things can be unlocked by the thought leader. And of course, you can partner with brands. There's nothing inherently wrong with that, but you can make sure that it aligns with your thought leadership and only further propels that, right? It actually is an amplifier of this leadership that you're crafting out. I just want to briefly interrupt to say that I'm going to leave some resources in the description, including some like free guides that are going to be useful for you on this journey, but also access to my newsletter. So if you want to keep up to date with things, new opportunities, experiences, ideas, then you can sign up to that for free as well. But let's just continue. So the next reason you want to go down this Renaissance thought leadership path is because you want the legacy of a body of work and you want to tap into association power. You're not interested at this point in just creating content to fill the feed of a short-term attention. We're so far beyond that in this conversation. Instead, you want to add to your body of work in the way that you would think about an archive, or almost like a professor or an academic, where each paper that they publish contributes to their field and their industry and positions them as somebody to be referenced, somebody to be remembered. And that's the difference between being briefly visible and actually, again, standing the test of time and being circled back to in the good way, not in the circling back. Instead of thinking influencer content, you're thinking thought leader body of work. And speaking about reference and association power, because you are crafting this body of work that is unique to you, you can start to leverage the power of association. You can start to almost own terms or areas because of the repetition and because of the trust that you're building. For example, I want you, when you think of multi-passionate living or multi-passionate challenges or a Renaissance life, to think about me, right? To think that Adama might have a resource or a conversation that's worth adding to or, getting a part of, or maybe I do want to be part of that community. Like, I want you to think about me and associate me as somebody who could be helpful and valuable to you in this particular realm. And that only happens over time of putting out, again, high quality ideas, of engaging with people, of genuinely caring about your craft and bringing others along with you on a journey. Following on from that is you probably want to start attracting other thought leaders into your circle. So this isn't necessarily just about the audience or community dynamic, but actually your inner circle. And if you felt that you've been kind of isolated or you're not really communicating with the right people really as part of your day-to-day or part of your week-to-week, it's probably because you're not positioning yourself as a type of person to attract that. At this point in our lives, most of us know the type of people that energize us and those that drain us. And this is not about the inherent value of the individual, but we know that there are certain things that we enjoy being around and that develop us, allow us to develop and grow into the best version of ourselves. And so if you do consider yourself this type of person, you likely want to attract other high agency, high thinking, thought leaders yourself. And so if you're putting yourself out there in this capacity, you're far more likely to attract like-minded people, as opposed to if you're playing the influencer hamster wheel game and, putting out things that maybe are not even true to you, maybe because you're following a trend and you felt off. I bet you've probably been through that, where because this is the in thing to do, you posted something, but it did not feel aligned to you at all. One of my favorite reasons is because you want to integrate your lived experience with your expertise. One of the great things about thought leadership, and the Renaissance thought leadership in particular, is it's not just about your credentials or your work. Those things are important, and I don't want to take away from the fact that you've worked towards them, but it's so much deeper than that. It's the intersection of your failures, your systems thinking, your creativity, the conversations that you have, again, those lived experiences. These things not only allow you to further your unique positioning, but they bring you your personal brand and your positioning to life. It humanizes you in a world that is actually more leaning towards AI and artificial intelligence. This path, of course, suits multi-passionate women really well, because you can bring in things that might not be part of your core formula, that formula that we spoke about at the beginning, but they still feed into you, right? And so you can dot them around and, again, bring your brand, bring your body of work to life through these things. And I should say that when I talk about this Renaissance thought leadership, it doesn't mean that everything you put out has to be a world-changing, groundbreaking thesis, right? That you can never do things like a vlog or a more light-hearted post. In fact, you should be doing those. At this point, even educational content, we're fatigued with just the general educational content that is, again, devoid of personality. So these sorts of things like vlogs, if that's what you're interested in, because you don't have to either, or posts that show more of your life, more of that lived experience, can really, really be incredible in allowing you to stand out even further. And the final reason you want to go down this route, and I alluded to it in the last point, is you don't want to compete with AI. AI is generating a lot of content right now, and it's doing pretty good, even in video, and being able to analyze trends to predict what would do well. But it still cannot make content from your original perspective, with your judgment, with your taste, with, again, your lived experiences, things that don't exist online and in its database. Right? Instead of just trying to play catch up or compete with more generic content, you focus on carving your own space as a leader, as a Renaissance thought leader. Anyway, I hope I've made the case why I think RTL, Renaissance thought leadership, is going to be ideal for you if you are a multi-passionate, deep thinking, ambitious woman in 2026. And as I said, I'll leave some resources in the description for you to get your hands on and go deeper into. And otherwise, I will see you in the next video.